There will be riots and demonstration in the streets worldwide.
Deuteronomy 18:18. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. On 18th December 2022, God spoke through the manservant that there was going to be big demonstrations in all over the world. Watch how accurate the man of God prophesied concerning the protests that are happening in the many parts of the world.
2023, there will be riots and demonstration in the streets worldwide. Everywhere, almost every day, almost every month. When you tune on the news, you will hear riot, strike, demonstration, riot, strike, demonstration.
On est là parce que c'est tout simplement injuste, parce que on voit, quand on sait qu'un quart des plus pauvres meurt à 62 ans et qu'on veut aujourd'hui mettre une retraite à 65, ça n'a juste aucun sens. Puis les jeunes, on sera les premiers impactés aussi. Trouver du boulot quand on garde de plus en plus les places, ça veut dire plus de chômage pour nous.
It's the biggest strike in Britain for a decade. And what it's really saying is whether you're a teacher, a train driver, a lecturer or a civil servant, you do not deserve to be poorer at the end of the year than you were at the start, even though you're working harder than ever before.
Brothers, sisters and brothers, it's a name.
Several thousand protesters rallied in Moldova's capital on Sunday amid a cost of living crisis and skyrocketing inflation. The call was for the country's new pro-Western government to cover citizens' winter heating bills. The protest was organised by a recently formed group, Movement for the People, and supported by members of Moldova's Russia-friendly Shore Party, which holds 6 seats in the former Soviet Republic's 101-seat legislature. Some of the demonstrators called for the country's president, Maia Santos.
Thousands of people took part in a protest rally in the Portuguese capital, Lisbon, to demand action from the government on the cost of living crisis. The demonstrators called for a fairer life and an end to price increases in an event organised by the group Vida Justa, which means fair life. The organisers say an emergency plan from the government is crucial, if only to stop a difficult situation from getting worse, by which they mean inflation, home evictions and reductions in salaries.
Now, there was chaos and violence in the South American nation of Suriname, where demonstrators in the capital city of Paramaribo turned violent, as public frustration has grown over the rising cost of living. Hundreds of people were protesting on Friday against the austerity measures that have been planned by the government. This includes eliminating subsidies in the backdrop of high inflation. Now, the protesters were seen throwing rocks and bottles at the security forces and even tried to force their way into the parliament. This protest was initially calm but then got ugly shortly afterwards. The police had to resort to firing tear gas and also fired rubber bullets to disperse the protesters.
Ja, ich bin natürlich hier, um ein Zeichen für den Frieden zu setzen. Jedes Gespräch, jeder Dialog ist immer besser als Gewalt, Krieg und Schüsse und Granaten.
Ich wünsche mir ehrliche Diplomatie. ehrliche Diplomatie und zurück an den Verhandlungstisch.
Genau.
المظاهرة باش نقولوا لا للعنصرية ولا للفاشية باش نقولوا راهو تونس دولة وأرض إفريقية ومرحبا بالأفارقة الكل.
أول مرة في تاريخ تونس المعاصر رئيس جمهورية يعمل خطاب فاشي للدرجة هذه وفيه العنف هذا كل والتمييز على أساس اللون.
Protests over Brazil's election results and days after the inauguration of Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. In the lead-up to the vote, Bolsonaro alleged election fraud without evidence, and he left the country after the election. So as tensions rise between supporters of the two main political factions in Brazil, here are the key moments in the months leading to the siege that can help us understand how and why the chaos unfolded. First, let's rewind to late October. That's when leftist Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva won the presidential election runoff. The vote was the closest in the country's history, with da Silva taking 50.9% of the vote to 49.1% for Bolsonaro. It was also a highly polarizing campaign.
Brasil acima de tudo.
With voters on the left and on the right divided over issues including economic insecurity and Brazil's handling of the pandemic.
Chegamos ao final de uma das mais importantes eleições da nossa história.
Following the loss, Bolsonaro
àwọn kan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní May 12 ní ìdájí láàárọ̀ ìtakọ̀ déédéé rí eléyìí o. Àmọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n wá dá riot yẹn sílẹ̀ wọ́n fi iná sí police station ní under bridge May 12. So ibẹ̀ lẹ́ ń wò yọ àlè ráyè débẹ̀ àwọn ọlọ́pàá ti wà ń bẹ̀ wọ́n ti ń yìnbọn here and there. So wọ́n ti ń lé àwọn èèyàn padà gọ́ báyìí.
Call it a wave of anger and frustration in demand for attention from the government at the center. You will be right.
Soldiers everywhere.
In the Mile 12 area of Lagos, where normalcy has reportedly been restored, it was a Friday morning of unrest over naira scarcity. Commuters were stranded over the rejection of the old note by transporters, leading to the breakout of protest. In the Ojota area of Lagos, the protest started and spread to the Maryland, K2 and Ikorodu axis. Some protesters were said to have attacked commuters and set bonfires on major roads. That led commuters and residents scampering for safety. Lagos police spokesperson Benjamin Hundeyin, while confirming the incident, said police officers have been mobilized to the areas to restore peace and free movement. In Ogun State,
Some residents of Ibafo in Obafemi Owode local government area blocked both sides of the Lagos-Ibadan expressway at the
True to the word of the Lord that was spoken through his manservant, it is just 2 months into the new year and already there are massive protests and demonstrations going on in many parts of the world. Indeed, God is still speaking in our generation through his servant, Apostle Dr. Elijah Kofi King. In the description is the link to the video of when the prophecy was posted on Fire One TV. Apostle Dr. Elijah Kofi King, graced differently, anointed differently. Fire Nation, fire, 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 ya.
There will be riots and demonstration in the streets worldwide, everywhere, almost every day, almost every month. When you tune on the news, you will hear riot, strike, demonstration, riot, strike, demonstration.
Apostle Dr. Elijah Kofi King is worth hearing.